What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Stat Patters podcast. I'm Andy, this is Rishi, and we're here to talk about why Man United could only get 7 points from the next 5 games. That's right, I know it sounds scary. We're playing Everton at home, Palace away, West Ham at home, Wolves away, and Bournemouth at home. In any other season, maybe a few years back, we would be expecting, I don't know, 13 points or 12 points from those 5 games, but I have a feeling that it's gonna be a bumpy ride, and I predicted as such in a recent podcast I did with James from the Manchester United Muppeteers and with Semix Football as well. So go check that out if you haven't seen it already. Those guys seem to think that it's possible to get like 13 points, maybe, right? So 4 wins and a draw, or 12 points, and they were saying they would accept 10 points. But I think we not only have some banana skins on the way, but we also have some real tough games that people might be underestimating. So that's what we're here to talk about. And just for some additional context, we have a settled starting 11, but Sheshko is no longer available for God knows how long. Casemiro just played a full 90 minutes for Brazil on international duty. I am not exactly sure what shape we're going to be in after we come back from the international break, right? I think Mbumo is going to be, hungry and ready to go, and Ahmad as well, probably. But the rest of the team, right? How are they going to look? How's it going to feel? So Rishi, what are our thoughts on where we're at and how we're feeling going into these next 5 games?
Well, I see this is exciting as a United fan, right? Because if we were under Ten Hag in the previous season or the one before that, I would have been completely down in the dumps because I would have been like, okay, what's even the point? Because we're gonna probably get 3 points, and I mean like three draws and two losses, right? That's the kind of thing I was expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, winless run completely. The fact that we are now looking at 7 points and saying that I would be disappointed. Dude, last season I would have bit your hand off for 7 points from these five fixtures. And I believe we got 1 point from two games against Bournemouth. Palace did the double on us, right? Everton, I think we won one and drew one, or won one and lost one. So it's not been
And
smooth
West Ham
sailing.
West Ham did the double on us as well.
West Ham did the double on us, right? Wolves, I believe, did the double on us. So these are all, I think, banana skin would be a tricky fixture, and this is a game where they're favorites. So how is it a banana skin for us, right?
Well, I
So
mean,
I think,
it's not quite. I think Rishi's exaggerating. They're not quite favorites, but I see your point. If you ask like a GPT type model to just look at the last few seasons and predict this game, they would have this as a 50-50 at best, right? And at worst, they would have the other teams as favorites. So I totally take your point, Rishi. And Palace, how anybody can look at Palace and say, because when I was talking to both James and Semix, they were like, "Oh yeah, Palace game will be difficult, and we'll draw that one, and then the others we can win." And guys, I would be happy if we don't get smacked up in that game because they play a very similar style to how we've been operating against big teams, right? And so it's a difficult one. We're going to talk about that in detail. But Rishi, tell us tell us who you think is going to be a key player for us. Just an early shout over the next 5 games before we even start talking about some of these.
uh, it's difficult to look past the big guns. I mean, Mbumo, player of the month, 6 goals so far. He's the big man for us. And the second key player, I think, is going to be Cunha, obviously, because he hasn't really got off the blocks, right? He needs to fire, and he's that driven, motivated, hungry kind of professional. And when he's
Mhm.
looking at Mbumo and seeing the impact he has made, I'm pretty sure that's lit a fire under him. So I know we've kind of raised our concerns about Cunha in the previous podcast, but I'm expecting good things from him, and I think he will deliver. So yeah, Mbumo, Cunha, the two obvious big names for me.
Can I give you a crazy shout?
Yeah,
I think Bruno's going to be our player of the month for this month. I see him
I,
in these next 5 games. I see potential for a few penalties because we're going to be nice and cute around the box. I think Bruno's like if you want to ask who those two penalty misses haunt more than anybody else in this world, you bet your bottom dollar it's Bruno Fernandes, and he's gonna smash that shit into the top corner if I've ever seen a penalty like that Voltamata penalty that he had that he put into the top corner. It's gonna be one of those, and yeah, this just it's just a feeling I have that it's gonna be
Can
Bruno.
I give you a crazy stat that I heard a few weeks back?
Go.
So Bruno has taken 67 penalties in his career so far, and he scored 61. And I think I can recall each of those six penalties that he's missed. Two of them just came in
Wait,
this season. So he's a
seriously?
yeah, seriously,
In his whole career, he's only missed 6 penalties.
yeah, he's taken 67
Oh,
and he's mixed six.
and two of them were this season.
Two of them were this season.
Wow. Okay.
I
So
also
he
remember one against West Ham a couple of years back when I think Ollie was here. So I remember these because they're so rare, right? So I think, like you said, he's if he gets a penalty, he's gonna tear the net up and he's gonna hurt someone behind the goal.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, those are both good shouts. But Rishi, let's talk about the first game. Okay. So we're playing the Toffees at home. And for those of you that are wondering, that is Everton. And more specifically, David Moyes' Everton, and even more specifically, Mr. Slickback Hair, short socks, Jack Grealish's Everton,
Oh, I
right?
thought you were gonna say Jamie Tart.
No, no, no. Well, yeah, yeah. Basically, Jamie, ta tu 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 tu, Jamie, ta tu
Jamie
tu tu
Tart,
tu.
Jamie Tart,
Yeah.
Jamie Tart.
But yeah, as somebody who gets mistaken for an American all the time, I guess I have to rep Ted Lasso, right? But yeah, so last time we met Everton was the 2-2 preseason draw. It was probably the first glimpse of real like fluid football under Ruben Amorim. That game could have easily ended 5-2 or 6-4, but we still saw some of these same old issues, right? Ugarte got dispossessed before their first goal. And one simple back post cross let Iliman Njai finish from 3 yards, and back post defending still remains a concern, right? Obviously, we lost that goal to Forest because of the back post defending with Ahmad versus Gibbs White. Um, and looks like they already kind of fixed it with the Spurs game because we didn't see Ahmad marking that same zone. But quick turnovers are still an issue. Um, so what do you think the biggest threat is with Everton right now, Rishi?
I think it's you can't look past Iliman NDI, and he's kind of on a hot streak right now. You know, he's scoring screamers, he's winning duels, he's fifth in the Prem for duels won, and already Twitter tacticos are calling it like his winter arc. So his numbers over the past seasons are they're kind of ordinary, but he could be in the middle of like a prime Miguel Almiron kind of a purple patch, right? Where in a 3-4 month period he scores in like 10 goals and like he's tearing it up. Crazy shot conversion ratio, so like he is in the middle of a purple patch. So let's give him props for that. Then there's Mr. Jamie Tart, Jack Grealish himself. He's always extra motivated against us. I don't know if you've noticed. Back in 2020, when Villa were almost about to drop out of the Prem, it was the COVID season, COVID interrupted season, and there were a lot of talks of us being in for him. Like he was going to come in and play on the left wing and also sub for Bruno whenever he wouldn't be playing. So we were in for him, but then something happened, and there was a couple of controversial games involving Villa where the ball didn't really go into the net, but they were given that goal and they won the match. So, they
They stayed
happened to
up on
beat
the
the
last
draw.
day of the season, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And his price went up from 40 million to 80 million because they beat the drop. And obviously, we had just got Bruno, who was sensational for us. So we weren't going to spend 80 million on another attacking midfielder. We had, Martial and Rashford. So eventually ended up staying another season. City paid 100 million for him after that. So, and ever since then, he's kind of had a chip on his shoulder, right? Whenever he's played against us. I remember that game where we beat them 2-1 in Ten Hag's first season. He scored the goal for them in the 60th minute, and then we kind of came back and scored two. Always played well against us, always has a point to prove. So he's the other guy I think who's a big threat.
So, Rishi, do you think we should have signed Grealish back when around the time that you're talking about, like maybe whether it's the 40 million time or the 80 million time or ahead of City? Because I'll just add some context here. He would have been a completely different player at United, right? I think that's fairly certain. I think there's no questions about his work ethic or how good he is around the team. And with all the English lads that we have, Brexit FC, he would have fit right in with the players that we do have. Um, do you think he would have been a much better player at United, and would that have suited us, like him playing off the left with the likes of Bruno instead of just relying on Rashford, for example?
Yeah, yeah, because he's that maverick kind of player, right? He likes that freedom. He likes to influence the game the best way he can. And just looking at the creativity we had in the team at that time, it was just Bruno, right? And I know Pogba was playing in a much deeper role. But in that season, you had Pogba playing off the left wing quite a bit. And I think that the only reason was that we didn't have enough creativity on the left wing. Grealish would have filled in that role perfectly. So I think he would have done a great job, and the fans would have absolutely loved him. Uh, so it's kind of sad how his career petered out at City because I mean I won't blame just Pep. He's Grealish has to hold up his hand too.
Mhm.
Uh, but that arm around the shoulder kind of Ollie kind of let's all be mates kind of philosophy that might have worked for him.
You know what's interesting, actually, just as a side note, City seem to have gone away from Pep football this season. And this seems like the best time for Grealish to actually be at City, to be that more of a maverick, right? Because if you look at Tijani Reinders, for example, I know he's more of a midfielder than Grealish is. What's like, there's no big difference between the way he and Grealish want to play football, right? It's they're more suited to the counter-attacking style. They're more suited to like dribbling forward with the ball, maybe winning fouls for their team. But it's interesting that they decided to let him go this season and bring in young blood. But I guess that's how top clubs operate, and um, I think one day we will get back to the old Sir Alex Ferguson days where we could afford to let the likes of Ronaldo go, the likes of Beckham go, and still not miss a beat.
But you
Um,
want to hear something crazy though, Andy? Just to
yeah.
bookend this whole Grealish and City topic. Grealish is 30 years old. He's 31 next season. Everton have an option to buy him. You know what the option is worth? It's 50 million pounds. How the hell do City pull off these deals, man? Like how? I don't know if it's
Yeah.
eventually going to go down as a 50 million deal, but they managed to put that clause in there.
Yeah.
That's going to be the bar they negotiate off of. So they'll at least get like 40 million back for a player that was washed up at City and who's almost 31, 32.
Yeah, that's fair, but there's other arguments to be made in the sense that he never utilized his pace as much, right? He's never like a fast player, so he could probably play till he's 35, 36 very easily, and not look very washed up, right? And plus, even at a 35, 36-year-old, Grealish can probably still go to the Serie A after that and play, right? So even an Everton that pays 40 million for him probably gets 10 or 15 back at the end of
Yeah.
his first contract with them. But anyways, we're not here to talk about Grealish. I just want to quickly add to the screen and talk about Everton's form this season. Looks like they started off with a loss to Leeds. They've beaten Brighton. They've beaten Wolves. Drew to Villa. Lost to Liverpool and Wolves in the EFL Cup. Okay. 1-1 draw with West Ham. They beat Palace 2-1. Interesting. And then lost to City 2-0. This is what I mean, guys. We're talking about a Palace team that is third, by the way, by expected points. I know it's a little foreshadowing for what we're going to talk about in a second. But Everton's not a bad team. They lost to Tottenham, okay. Drew 1-1 with Sunderland and beat Fulham 2-0. So these are all teams that we've had a mixed record against, right? Like Sunderland we beat, but we drew against Fulham. Tottenham we drew against as well. But they've had some good results this season. And if you look at our head-to-head record, the last two games that we've played against them, so the club friendly and the last game last season, were both 2-2. And then I guess we did beat them last year, Rishi. We beat them 4-0. Let me see who scored in this game. Oh, it was two by Rashford, two by Xerxes. Right. But yeah,
Wasn't that the game where he said the storm is coming? That was the game.
I think so. That was after, right
Yeah,
after that game, he said
yeah,
the storm
yeah,
was
yeah.
coming, and
That was the
well,
game.
at
Yeah.
least he's a good weatherman. Whether he's a good coach or not, he's a good weatherman, guys. So yeah, I think, look, our home form is really good this season. We have 12 points from 15, 11 goals scored, 6 conceded, and I think with the crowd behind us after an international break, where the other team's players have also gone on break, I think this could be 3 points for us. Rishi?
Yeah, I agree. I think this is 3 points for us because uh, we are playing Everton at home. I know we spoke about Grealish, but even his form has kind of tailed off. And historically, we've been pretty decent against Everton at home. So I'm happy with the 3 points. What's interesting is, Andy, if we are targeting 7 points from this 5 match run, and we've already got three from the first game, that means it's either four draws or it's one win and one draw and two losses. So I want to ask you, what would you rather take?
Uh, I would rather take Liverpool lose all 5 of their next games. um, honestly, man, I don't know what I would. I would prefer one win, one draw, and two losses. Because 4 draws don't really tell me that much, right? And the problem I have with draws is always, what if you lose the next game after that? Then you're looking at 3 games where you would have rather just won one and lost two, because you would still have more points from those 3 games than drawing two and losing one.
Yeah.
Because the draw, it's weird to say, look at it this way, a draw is only good from a single game perspective. Like, you're looking at it as, I would have rather taken, I'll take the draw over the loss, is the way you look at it, right? But when you look at
Right.
it over multiple games, it's better to have wins or losses, in my opinion, right? Like, over a whole season. I think a few seasons ago, I remember us having this conversation, Rishi, where Tottenham were basically either winning or losing games, and they were still in like fourth place.
That was
They
the
were,
season they reached the Champions League final. Yeah,
yeah,
for
exactly.
the
They
first the first 30 or 32 games, they hadn't lost a single game. They would
they hadn't
they
drawn a
hadn't
single game.
drawn a single game. They would either win or lose.
Yeah. And they were still in like the top 4. So
Yeah,
my point is that, draws are only good if you're not losing any games. If you're going to lose any games, then it's better just to win the games that you can win. So I'd
right,
rather have one win, one draw, and two losses to get the 4 points
right.
that we're talking about. And plus, I think we're at a position within this rebuild where losses teach us a lot as well, right?
Mhm.
So I think we have a little ways to go. And by the way, guys, just, I didn't mention this at the beginning. These 5 games, the fifth one is the one just before AFCON starts, because the Bournemouth game is December 15th, and AFCON starts the week after that, I believe.
21st,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. So essentially, these are the games where we're supposed to get, let's say, as many points as we can before we leave for AFCON, so that we can have some slippery skins later. But I guess what we're trying to say between me and Rishi is, being realistic. 7 points is what we think we can get, which is getting points from 3 out of the 5 games. But the next game, Rishi, if you want to take us through this one, is against the Eagles. Are they called the Eagles?
Yeah, they are, they are.
Okay, they are called the Eagles.
They
Right,
have an
right.
eagle on their
Jamie
chest.
Vardy.
Yeah.
Jamie Vardy. uh, yeah. So we're playing Palace away. Rishi, take us through this one.
Yeah, this is the toughest fixture of the lot, right? I mean, Palace is a team that, based on expected points, should probably be second or third in the league. I think just below Arsenal and City. They have a top coach. Oliver Glasner is the guy that was linked heavily uh, with United when Amorim was going through a tough patch. Good coach, good system, hardworking players. That seems to be like our poison pill, and that's the reason why this whole run of fixtures is so tricky because it's got Palace away. If it was Palace at home, I would have probably been a little more optimistic and I would have even said 8 or 10 points. But you have that one game against Palace where they can easily crush your spirit, and then you could kind of stutter through the rest of the run, right? Uh, So yeah, Palace for me, it's the last five meetings we've got one win, and that was a League Cup match in 2023. And since then, we've got three losses and a draw against them, and we haven't scored a single goal in those four games. Right. So that tells you something about how well Palace set up. I think it's astounding the record that Palace have against us. And
And not
obviously in
that's not
those,
even all that's not even all under Glasner, because Glasner joined in 2024. So the last
yeah,
four games stretches back to pre-Glasner as well. So this is a
yeah, yeah,
tough game, guys. You know that we need to
right,
underline and bold and italicize this, that it's a
right,
tough game. Because like Rishi was saying earlier, they are third on expected points, right? And they
yeah.
have scored 7 goals less than they should have and conceded 5 goals less than they should have. So they're overperforming defensively, but underperforming on the offense. But Rishi, continue.
Yeah. So they've got such game changers too. I mean, we love to speak about XG. Mateta is a very good player who's underperforming his XG right now, and underperforming it significantly. This could be the match he makes it up against us. And we've seen in this league, it like Villa won 4-0 against Bournemouth, if I'm not wrong. Right.
Yes.
And Villa have been terrible in their XG numbers also. And in this game, the XG was almost evenly matched, but Villa scored four and Bournemouth didn't score any. So you could have a game like that where someone does a madness with the finishing. Mateta gets a couple, and Palace have beaten us 4-0 by the way in the recent past, so it's not even that far off. This could be that kind of a embarrassing loss, questions on Amorim's rebuild, and everyone shits on the fan
Deflating.
base kind of a match.
Deflating is the word.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And even for the team itself, right, it could be very disheartening because uh, I believe it was James Ducker who said recently that the team believes that they can qualify for Champions League because they have that belief. They've seen the performances, they've seen the system works, and they put in the work. So this could really be deflating for them. That's the right word, as you said, deflating, and that's the worry with Palace.
Yeah, and I think if you look at it, the last game we played them in February, we lost 2-0. Before that, September 21st, this is before Amorim joined. It was a 0-0 draw. May 6th, 2024, it was a 4-0 loss. September 2023, 1-0 loss. And then before that, we beat them in the EFL Cup 3-0. Right. So this is I don't know how many bogey teams you can have before you're just a shit team, and it's not a bogey team anymore, right?
There's
But
so many
Palace
bogies, it's practically a train right now.
train, yeah, and so we're this is a difficult game, guy. There's no other way I can put this. Like these guys are really good. They're underperforming their underlying numbers, and you best believe they're going to set up in like 40% possession or something like that, and just try to tear us down because Glasner is a coach that really likes to do his homework, and we're going to be in a situation in this game where he has seen every single game we have won or done well in. You look at the Sunderland game, you look at the Liverpool game, you look at the Brighton game. All three teams pressed us, and we did very well against them. So as long as you don't engage in a press against us, we're there to be had, right? And look, obviously, Ruben Amorim's going to do his meticulous research as well. Like he strikes me as a guy who, I think I watched in one of his interviews. He's like he gets up at 6 a.m. every day within one alarm. So maybe I can go shake his hand one day and get some of that stardust because that's not something I can do regularly. But yeah, he seems like very disciplined. He's thorough. He does his research. So this could be a very tight game, but I can see us losing this one. And for me, that's my prediction. I think we lose this. It's a 2-1 or 3-2 or something like that. And I think this has a chance of being even more disappointing than that because I can see us being 1 or 2 nil up and then conceding goals to actually lose this game. Rishi, do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And they've got these individuals, right, who are always going to be up for a game against us. Dean Henderson, he always turns into Allison when he faces us. Adam Wharton recently had a few things to say about his alleged links with United, and he said he just wants to put his head down and do the work. He might be hungry to impress us through an audition. And the last audition we saw was against Forest, right? When Elliot Anderson turned up and he was the best midfielder on the pitch. So this might be a game where Wharton has a few things to prove. So for me, it's exciting. Even if we lose the game, not only do we see what a potential target is made of, we also get to see what this team is made of. And I think that's
Mm.
important to note. I know, Andy, we are telling people that we probably might just get 7 points out of the next 15, but it's also something that you learn about the team. I guess this season has shown us enough that there is enough to be excited about with this team, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even in a loss, we learn some things. And I would be ecstatic if we kind of, we're losing like we are a goal down or a couple of goals down, and Palace shut up shop, and we find a way to break them and earn that draw. I think that's the other aspect, right? Because we've gone up and then we've conceded two and then we've come back. So it's been like an up and down game. What if we
Mm.
are down from the beginning, like we concede in the fourth minute, Palace shut shop, and we are attacking and ramming and beating them down, and then in the 80th minute we score an equalizer and it ends 1-1. I would be ecstatic with that result.
Rishi, if you remember for the Brighton preview, we were doing the call-in show. I said
Yeah,
almost exactly this, which is I
yeah, I
want
know.
us to go one or two goals down and then see how we can come back. And the reason is because if you noticed Amorim's system, the Liverpool game, we had as low a possession as we had because we scored so early. And you compare that to like the City game, the reason why City could sit back and we had to, be so high up in their own half is because Amorim's system is very adaptable, right? It's trying to do what the game state requires. So if we need to chase the game down, we're going to have more possession and we're going to create high XG. That's exactly why in the first 6 games of the season, we had very high XG and we were underperforming our expected points because we kept trying to go and win the game, but we were, still losing, or we would concede early and have to come back from that. So naturally, a team that is trying to chase the game will create more chances because they have to, right? And that's the same reason Liverpool had 2.7 XG or whatever in that game because they were chasing it for so long. Whereas for us, if we do go down against Palace or in any of these games, you'll see us having more possession, you'll see us having more XG, and it's because we're trying to chase the game down. Which one would I rather prefer? I think honestly, this is a season that is one that teaches us a lot as fans and also as players, as coaching staff. Everybody's learning. So I want us to go through some difficult times and have it be a not so deflating loss or something like that. So, like Rishi said, imagine we go 2-0 down and we score 2 goals to come back. And then there's a last minute, like crazy goal scored by somebody or something like that. I don't think we'd be as deflated as if it was just like 3-0 down in the first half and then, in garbage time we got 2 goals or something like that. Right. So that's my point. I think it's how we play, how we react to the game state, and how we're seeing our players fight for the badge despite of how it's going. And when I spoke to Tony O'Neill, by the way, recently on the channel, if you haven't seen that, guys, go check it out. That's what he said. His expectations from the team are just to give everything on the pitch. And he doesn't want anybody to be a disgrace like Rashford, like Garnacho, like those types of players that are just in it for the bag. He wants players to, give everything for the shirt, fight, and give the fans something to be proud of. And that's what I'm expecting as well. Um, let's move swiftly on to the next game, Rishi. And we're looking at West Ham at home. Um, the Hammers, they're under Nuno now. And let's not forget, he beat us at Old Trafford last year. It was a 1-0 defeat, I believe.
Yeah. Also beat us
Elanga scored.
3-2 at City Ground.
And Elanga scored the
Yeah,
goal, didn't he, at Old
yeah,
Trafford?
yeah.
How's he doing now, by the way? But never mind. So the manager who lived, Graham Potter, who's now the Sweden manager, Rishi.
Yeah.
What is happening, dude? Everybody leaves these top clubs and just goes and becomes a national team manager. You look at Tuchel managing England now. Ralph Radnick left United and went and managed Austria. Now Graham Potter is managing Sweden. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, so for those who remember, Graham Potter actually started off his pro coaching career out in Sweden. That's where
Mm.
he earned his badges, and that's where he first started out managing. And that was this whole story that they put out when he became Chelsea manager, how he started off from humble roots and he's really worked his way up up the coaching ladder. So I see the links why he's become Sweden manager, because Sweden were having a pathetic time of it in the World Cup qualifiers. Even now they're like somewhat on knife's edge because they don't know whether they'll qualify or not. And if you look at their attacking line, it's like a 250 million attack. It's
Yeah, well, they have shit players up front. I'm sorry, there wasn't a better way for me to say that.
Yeah, I mean Gyökeres and
Isak.
Isak and Elanga. Elanga is a local boy. He's a United lad.
Have you
So
seen that meme comparing Isak to Specs Gonzalez?
just
It's too good, bro. It's too
it
good.
is. It
People
is.
are so
Yeah.
savage, bro. Let
Yeah.
me pull it up. You continue.
So, yeah, I mean, Graham Potter, Sweden manager, but let's focus on Nuno right now. Um he's managed 6 games for West Ham, and he lost like the first three, I think. But the last 2 games, they've kind of turned it around. They won 3-2 against Burnley. They won 3-1 against Newcastle. Both were at home at London Stadium. They've been compact. They've been organized. Classic relegation savior football. It's classic Harry Redknapp football. It's classic Sam Allardyce football. But it's working. I see you pulled it up. It's difficult to tell who the Premier League footballer is. I think you're on mute, Andy.
Oh yeah, sorry. I said the funny thing is neither of them are Premier League footballers.
Yeah,
Worst time
yeah,
for me to
good
be
one.
on mute, but yeah. Uh, neither of them are Premier League footballers. But anyways, Rishi, I want to bring up something about West Ham as well. Lucas Paqueta has the most duels won in the Premier League this season. Did you know
No
that?
way. I
Yeah.
had no clue. I know he had scored a couple of absolute bangers,
Yep.
um,
In the
but I didn't know he
5-1
has
loss
a.
to Chelsea, he scored a banger with his left
Yeah,
foot.
but he also scored one against Burnley. So
Mm,
Burnley, or was it Newcastle? I think it was Newcastle.
mm.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has the most
So
duels won in the Premier League. I'm not making this up. I was as shocked as anybody else because he doesn't strike you as like the most physical footballer. And I was pretty shocked
yeah.
with Iliman Ndiaye as well. But Ndiaye is fifth at 70 duels won. Paqueta is leading the pack with 84 duels won. He's played every single game. And his duels won per 90 are 8. So he's winning 8 duels every game. It's very
Wait, is
impressive
this across all players or across midfielders?
across all players.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That's super impressive. I know we were
And
linked with Paqueta a few weeks back. I thought he was too old for us and obviously too gambly for us.
mhm.
Uh, but with that whole clean living professionals thing, right? He absolutely fails that test, uh, allegedly.
Whoa, the gambling
So
stuff. Yeah.
the gambling
Yeah.
allegations, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, I was doing this research for a Patrick Dorgu video, guys. So at some point that one is going to come out. I just need some time to figure out how that's going to work. Yeah. So Rishi, West Ham is definitely a team that's on the rise, right? Because despite their low possession, their XG is pretty good. Like if you look at their last 2 games against Newcastle, they had 37% possession, but 1.75 XG compared to Newcastle's 0.52. Against Burnley, they had 43% possession and 3.02 XG from 15 shots. So that's an average, XG per shot of more than 0.2, slightly more than 0.2. So they're very good at sitting deep, absorbing the pressure and counterattacking. To be fair, they're also prone to making mistakes defensively, right? Because obviously they have one of our men there, there in Wan-Bissaka, back post crosses anybody.
hey, but that guy
But
turns into prime Cafu, man, when he plays against us. So let's not dismiss him that easily.
yeah,
These
well,
players who leave, they always come back with a vengeance.
that's true. That's true. But it's not like we did Wan-Bissaka dirty, dude. We loved him when he was at the club, and we sold him for a good price, and looks like he's found his home at West Ham. But I'll just say that they're prone to defensive mistakes. So if you're asking me which is the other 3-point game out of the 5 games that we're playing, for me it's this one. Rishi, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I kind of it could go both ways. Like we could get 3 points from this, or we could get 1 point from it. I Because I'll give you some caveats. Okay, against Burnley, so Burnley dominated that first half and they were 1-0 up till they equalized in the 44th minute. So that was, and against Newcastle, right? Pope had a complete nightmare. He should have saved 2 goals. And that shows why Newcastle needs a new goalie pronto. They needed one in the summer. They went for Trafford, right? But he chose to go back to City. And honestly, Trafford should actually push for a loan move to Newcastle in January.
Mm,
Uh, so for me, like this is all these caveats taken where Newcastle should have probably drawn the game and Burnley should have also probably drawn the game. This could be a 3 point match for us because this is also home game, right? So this could be that 3 point game. Or if I have my say, it could be a 1 point game. Because for me, if we're counting it as 7 points from this 5 match run, we've already counted the Everton game as 3 points, and then if you're counting this one as 3 points, then the other one is probably a 1 pointer or a 3 pointer. So I'm
mm.
still not sure about these two. This could be a three or a one. This could be a win or a draw.
Got it. So we'll not let Rishi sit on the fence. By the time we finish the show, he has to tell us which game's going to be 3 points or 1 point. But for me, this one's a 3 pointer. Let's move on, Rishi. Let's talk about the next game, which is Wolves away. Uh, this is a team that hasn't won a single game all season. And they're sitting on 2 points, but according to expected points, they should have nine, right? And Burnley, which is a team that's sitting on 10 points, according to expected points, should have 5.74. So let's say out of one promoted team for once is actually doing better than an existing team. And Wolves doesn't have a horrible team, man. Like this is, you're talking about Palace being the Adam Wharton watch. This is the Joao Gomez watch, right? Because
Yep. Yep.
again, this is a player that's going to want to do well against us. Apparently, there's a post by somebody linking Gomez to us on Instagram, and Cunha liked that post. So somebody
Agent
messaged me on
Cunha.
Instagram. Yeah, somebody messaged me on Instagram saying that this Cunha's liked it. Are you going to make a video about this? In fact, it was Varun Jain who reached out to me. So if you're watching this, get in the comments below, man. Thanks for letting me know. It isn't verified though, so I don't know if he's actually liked it or this is just some premonition by Varun. But maybe he has done it, and it'd be nice to see a player like that at United for sure. The problem is, Rishi, every time a team is down bad, United show up into town like a 3 a.m. booty call that is just trying to get us out of desperation or get them out of desperation. So why do you think this keeps happening? And I actually feel like this could be the game that we lose, man. Like Palace and Wolves, because United have this ability to really let you down, right? As fans. And I feel like Wolves away, we'd be the team to have beaten Liverpool, the title winners, and then go lose to the team that doesn't have a single victory all season.
Yeah, it's all the trauma of the past 7 or 8 seasons coming back
Yeah.
up, right? So see, to be fair, it's a new team now, and we're seeing that we're seeing those changes, right? Even the last two draws, the matches that we would have lost, we've actually come back and drawn. So there's new mentality here. So, but at the same time, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, we could lose this game because Wolves historically we've struggled there at the Molineux. Even I remember when they first got promoted in 2018, it was a slog, man. Like for 3 or 4 years, we would. I think there was a 7 or 8 game run where we just drew with them, like nil-nils and 1-1s and goalless draws. I think there was there was an FA Cup game where it was a goalless draw in the fifth round, I think, and then we had a replay, and I believe we lost that on penalties or like 1-0 or something. So they're like disciplined people. They're hardworking. They're always
Also,
like
Cunha
team
scored
first.
twice against us last year. In both games, Cunha scored. I didn't realize that.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he scored in the 58th minute in the first game, and then Hwang Hee-chan scored the second goal in the 99th minute, and Bruno got sent off in that game. And in the second game, it was Cunha. Oh, it was Sarabia.
It
Sorry,
was
sorry. Cunha only
Sarabia.
scored
Yeah, it
one goal. Yeah, yeah,
was
my bad,
70.
my bad.
He scored in the 77th minute, I think,
He
Sarabia.
had a good game against us in the second one. That's my bad,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, yeah. And even the Sarabia goal was actually a banger. So I remember that game. We should have drawn on balance. It should have been. But
Can you
anyways, we weren't winning
can I
that
just
game,
tell
right?
you the lineup? Sorry, can I just tell you the lineup from that game, guys? We at striker we had Rasmus Højlund. The two tens we had Menu and Garnacho. The two midfielders we had Ugarte and Eriksson. At left wing back we had Harry Amas. At right wing back we had Patrick Dorgu. Then we were playing Mazraoui, Lindelof, and Tyler Fredrickson in at center back, and Onana in goal. So when you guys are all talking about, oh, Ruben Amorim's been here for 50 games, you're counting one of these? Seriously, you're counting Harry Amas, Tyler Fredrickson, Lindelof, Onana, Ugarte, Eriksson midfield, and Garnacho and Menu at 10. Like this is what we were doing because we were trying to
Yeah,
do
I
well in the
I don't
Europa League.
think I don't think any of them is a starter in the first 11, right? I didn't count any one of them.
Yeah, because you could argue maybe Dorgu, but Dallo seems to be
Yeah,
the
Dorgu,
preferred.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but
Maybe
still, Dallo
Dorgu is the
seems to
one.
be the preferred player over Dorgu.
Yeah,
So he's not in the
yeah,
starting 11 right now, and neither is Mazraoui. Those would be the only two
yeah,
players you could think of.
yeah,
And our best
yeah.
player on that day was Tyler Fredrickson, by the way, according to FODMOB.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. But yeah, keep going, Rishi.
So see, this year is different, right? I mean, obviously, we've also turned a page, and Wolves have also turned a page, but they've gone backwards into the previous chapter. They've sold the best players over the years. They've never really replaced the creativity of Joao Neves in the middle of the park. They never really replaced Neto's whatever Neto does. What does Neto do? Like
Um,
Pedro Neto.
I
Pedro
think he
Neto is
gets
like that.
Matisse. I think he gets Matisse upset. Uh, the Chelsea creator. He's always upset about Neto, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, apparently Jamie Carragher thinks he's a top right winger. He's always liked him.
I think he does a job.
It's all about the
So
structure.
it's all about the structure. Um, so yeah, I mean, Wolves have really gone back. They've turned the clock back to when they were back in the championship. There's chaos in the boardroom. They just fired a manager who was given a 3-year contract in the summer, right? They planned the entire squad with him, and they sacked him after 10 games, and they brought on Rob Edwards. Now, if people remember Rob Edwards, he was the Luton manager who promoted them into the Premier League and also got relegated from them. But
Also,
now
he's getting
he
a
was
lot of slack for abandoning Middlesbrough on their way up to the journey to Premier League football. And I've seen many
yeah.
people saying, wishing that Wolves, not only does he get sacked from Wolves, but also Wolves get relegated and Middlesbrough come up so that he gets what he deserves. But anyways, guys, he's gonna get a big payout if he gets sacked and all that. So don't have it any other way. But go on, Rishi.
Yeah, so just to tell you, Luton had a real fairy tale, and this guy Rob Edwards had obviously a huge part to play in that, because I don't think people realize he joined the team mid-season, the season that they got promoted from the championship. He came in the World Cup break. If people remember, there was a mid-season break for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. So Palace at that time had actually uh, they had they had 30 points from 21 games, so exactly half the championship season.
You
They
mean
had
Luton?
Yeah, sorry, Luton. Luton had 30 points from 21 games, and he came in and he got them 50 points from the next 21 games. He led them to 80 points at the end of the season. They finished third on the table and they won the playoff, and that's how they came into the Premier League. So
50 points from 21 games?
50 points from 21 games, yeah.
Damn. That's what is that? Like 2.5 points per game? Almost?
A little
2.4?
bit less than that, yeah. A little bit
Yeah.
less than that. So he was known for his man management and communication. They really said that there a lot of incidents that happened with Luton also. If you remember, their captain suffered a cardiac arrest on the pitch. So yeah, the way he carried himself, and he carried the team through that whole phase. A lot of props. He's a good man manager, good communicator. The players seem to like him, and as we've seen with Luton, he's able to bring that instant impact into teams, even though it's a short impact. I think that's what might be crucial in keeping them up, and that could be the kind of form that they start from now on. And it's like against Luton, he only had half a season. Now he has two-thirds of the season, right, with him, a little bit more than two-thirds of the season. So he could make an impact. Uh, I think also, interestingly, he started his coaching career in the Wolves Academy in the under 18s. So he's coming back to a team where the fan base knows him and he knows the culture of the club, right? So it could be a good homecoming. So I think it could be a quick culture reset and there could be a short-term bounce, which unfortunately coincides with a team like us, which always happy to hand out favors. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
ever
so
since
I think
Rashford started feeding the kids, he decided to feed the wealthy as well. But I'll tell you what, Rishi. For you guys that are watching, please smash the like and show some love to Rishi in the comments below because he's done all this research, man. The fact that Rob Edwards was in the Wolves Academy under 18, like who's I don't think Rob Edwards remembers that. So show your love to Rishi in the comments down below. I know the real ones are still watching. That's amazing research, dude. That's just great. And yeah, I think this is a slippery game. So my prediction for this game is actually a loss. So I said West Ham win, I said Palace draw, and I said Everton win. So that kind of gives it away because I'm predicting a draw against Bournemouth at home. But yeah, that's what I think, Rishi. What are your thoughts on this one?
yeah, I mean, it's going to come down to individual duels, all these kinds of games, which are sticky, 1-0, a goal difference decides who wins. It's down to those individual duels, and they've got some real hardcore players in the middle of the park. They've got Joao Gomez and they've got Andre, who, if you look up their FB ref numbers, Andy, I think you can put it up in post. A couple of screenshots of their FB ref numbers. They are defensive monsters. It depends upon who wins that physical duel in the middle of the park. We're going to start with Bruno and Casemiro. I know they're the best two we have right now. Uh, but they're going to be hungry too. And I think that's those individual duels could decide. And talking about individuals, we've got Cunha, who's an ex-Wolves player, and he might have a point to prove. Because if you remember, Mbumo didn't have a great homecoming at Brentford, right? Because we lost 3-1.
Yeah, we
So
lost. Yeah.
you don't know how it'll go. Because see, Cunha, who he's had a decent international break, he's again playing in the forward line for Brazil, which he tends to do a lot now. I don't know why they can't scour up a striker. They've got Igor Thiago, who's doing brilliantly, right? I don't know why
I
he.
I think it's more stylistically because Ancelotti's managing them now, right? And he gives them more ball progression from deep, and he can have the two wingers staying up high and wide, and not have them have to track back as much, or basically provide more width to the team. That's my guess. I haven't watched Brazil too much, but yeah, for sure, man. But what's your prediction for this game? What do you think we're gonna do?
I think we lose. I think you're
Right.
right. I think this is a game that we lose. I'm not too optimistic about this game. Not because it's like we are a bad team. It just everything the way it comes
Just
right,
feels
and
like yeah.
just feels like one of those games that we could lose. Yeah, I hope I'm wrong because it would be a big boost for like a Cunha to turn up and show what he's made of, right? Like these 5 games are very important.
I think he gets
I hope.
applauded at the Molyneux as well. If he
Yeah,
does
yeah,
put in a man of the match performance, they
yeah,
applaud him.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Moving swiftly on to the last game, which is Bournemouth at home. Uh, I'm gonna cheat a little bit, guys, and I hope you're not too upset with me. I, based on the predictions I've made so far, we've gone win, loss, win, loss. The Bournemouth game for me, it's a tough one to predict because first of all, we're at home, so that bodes well for us. We've been a very good home team, which is a good sign, by the way. I'd rather be a good home team than a good away team, right?
Yeah.
Whatever Tottenham is doing there, I don't want to be them. Um, we won 4-1 in preseason against them, but in the league we have two 3-0 losses at Old Trafford against them and two draws in the last two seasons. So this is a bogey fixture if I've ever seen one. At the same time, though, they've been so good this season, taking some big scalps. And let's not forget, opening day of the season against Liverpool, Semenyo was on fire, man. Like he got him back to 2-2, and had they not been bailed out by Chiesa and Salah, was it? I can't remember
Salah,
who's.
the last
Yeah,
the last goal
Yeah,
was Salah.
Chiesa and Salah. They probably get a draw from that game too. So this is a team that I can't really understand, because on the one hand you see them doing so well, and then they go to a City away and just like completely open themselves up and invite them to be destroyed, invite themselves to be destroyed, because they tried to press City at the Etihad, and they made some mistakes with that. So on the one hand, you could see Iraola wanting to, impress those that are watching him and try to play this expansive brand of football still, and make the same mistake that he made at the Etihad. But on the other hand, you could see that he took a big loss in that game, and winning this game or doing well in this game is what he needs to do, right? Because again, from a Bournemouth fan perspective, from a Bournemouth leadership perspective, they're not expecting him to go to Old Trafford and beat us like 4-0 by playing champagne football. But if he goes to Old Trafford and wins 2 or 3-0 by playing counter-attacking football and makes Semenyo look really good, and gets the price for Semenyo up, because you bet your bottom dollar if he plays well against us, we'd be, our head would be turned more to go get him. So long-winded way of saying, I think this could be a game that we draw, which is my prediction, but I can also see us winning or losing this game. So I'm saying, I guess um, the floor for what we can do in these 5 games is 6 points, and the ceiling is 9 points, in my opinion, and that rests on this Bournemouth game.
Yeah, yeah, it's. I think you're spot on. I think Bournemouth individually for me have a lot of talent. I think it's extremely commendable how Iraola has managed to uh, improve on results after losing so many key
Yeah,
players. They've lost Zabarni and Hausen, um Hausen Hoysen, however you pronounce his name.
yeah, yeah.
Very good player, and he was
Not
immense for
Steven,
them.
but Dan.
Yeah, and he got a few important goals too for them last season. So despite that, I think Semenyo was absolutely mint. I think I would absolutely love Semenyo. There are a lot of players there. I know even Senesi, right? He just that hardworking guy, South American fire in his belly, turns up in the big games. So this could be that 1 point. And let's not forget they've beaten us 3-0 in the last 2 games at Old Trafford, and that's
Mhm.
been humiliating. So this on balance, this is a game. You combine their record at Old Trafford with our improved record at Old Trafford. We are, we've got 12 points in 15. I think this could be a draw, like all things considered.
Yeah.
So
Fair enough. So
yeah.
that's the prediction, guys. I think Rishi, so wait, which games are you predicting wins in?
So my wins are coming against Everton and against West Ham. I know I was on the fence, but I think individual quality wise,
Okay.
Bournemouth
So I
clears
think we have
Bournemouth
the
clears
we
West
have the
Ham.
more or less the same predictions.
Exactly the
But I
same
think the
prediction.
only difference would be the floor for your case is maybe 5 points, because you said West Ham would be 1 or 3, and Bournemouth you also predicted a draw. So the floor will be
Uh,
5 points.
s- so no, actually, I would say that my floor is 7 points. I don't have I have a ceiling which is higher than that. We could actually win all 3 home games and lose the 2 away games because
Mm,
given our form, that's how we've been a practically been a home team this entire season. And I
yeah.
remember there was a season where we won the 19th title again under Sir Alex, 2010-11, the season where Vidic won his second Player of the Season award.
Mm,
I remember correctly, we won 18 home games and drew one. We were unbeaten at home. We got 55 points at home and we got 25 points away. We had only 5 wins away, and that was enough to get us the title with 80 points. So
mm,
if we go on a home run, we tend to be very good at home. And
yeah.
going back all those years too. So I think it could be 9 points too. Like we could win all 3 home games and lose the 2 away games.
Yeah, that's a great point. Look, guys, we've given all our reasons. I don't think makes much sense to beat a dead horse here. Obviously, both Rishi and I would rather us win all 5 games, and we're all here talking about Rubens at the wheel again. But I think that's also going to be a bit of a false dawn, right? So let's be realistic. I think what we're trying to do is give you a scenario that's very realistic, because this team isn't just going to go from 15th to a title race just because we signed 3 good attackers, right? Let's not forget we may not have that one of those 3 attackers for these next 5 games anyways. Which is probably a podcast on its own in terms of what the development of Šeško is going to be like now that he's got this big injury. And that's, if you want us to talk about that, get in the comments down below. But there are a lot of positives for this team, and like Rishi said at the start, I would really love to see Cunha be the player that carries us forward. But based on my prediction for Mbeumo, if he's going to be Salah levels, let's make sure he keeps it up and Cunha just does better than him. Because then we're looking at winning 5 games in a row. But I think it's easily possible, right? Like I think in my opinion, 3 wins and 2 losses is what I would say is good performance. And if we draw one of those 3 games, I won't be upset. If we get 12 points, which is win 4 games, that would be insane. That would be a sign to me that there's actually something that's Amorim is cooking something. But that's it for today, guys. The predictions are locked. Both me and Rishi are predicting 7 points. The fixtures are there in front of us. I am excited to go into every single one of these 5 games, even though the last 2 are on Monday, which I'm not a big fan of. But it is what it is, and we move. Rishi, just give us any parting thoughts, and then we'll end it here.
So a while back, you said, I asked you that if we win the first game and we're predicting 7 points, you said you would take a win and a draw and 2 losses over 4 draws. So I just want to present a counterpoint against that. If we do get those 4 draws and we are 5 games unbeaten, let's not forget we are still, then that makes us 10 games unbeaten, right? So that is its own achievement. That is its own kind of confidence that it brings with it. Uh, At the same time, I think 4 draws will
We'll make it
some
6
sort of a
draws out of 10. We'll make it 6
yeah,
draws out of 10.
yeah, and I think some sort of pattern will emerge from that. I'll tell you what. They might look at those 4 games and say that, you know what, we should have actually won another game, or we should have won 2 more games. And the reason we lost is we didn't have enough on the left hand side. And we managed to draw these games, but we could have lost those games as well. And that could be the difference in those Champions League spots. So losing 4 games might not be the drawing 4 games might not be the worst thing. I know you said that you'll at least have that the bounce from the win, and you'll have a positive result. But I think those 4 draws, there would be something to take away from
Interesting. Well, we'll see how the cards fall. And we'll definitely be here talking every single week about this team. And Rishi, by the way, is on the road, so he's making things happen. If you saw a picture of his setup, by the way, I think there'd be some laughs in the chat. But
it.
we're making it happen for you guys. And no matter whether it's late in the night for me or late in the night for him, we're always here to record for you guys. So show us some love, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we will see you next time. Thanks, guys. Peace.
Thank you.